that was my impression of a bird. I hope you enjoyed that. But welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone is having a great day and staying warm. I have my winter hat on here just because I got back inside from shoveling snow and I'm still a little chilly from that. And when I woke up this morning, there was about a foot of snow on my driveway. So had to get the old shovel out and get that work done. But decided to come back in, got my hot cocoa, and wanted to make a video. And I was looking over some of my decks and I decided to go over one of the first precons I have actually ever received. That is the first flight precon. There was like 5 other decks that were going based off that or like introduced at the same time as it. But they're just real basic precons. This one has Asperia as the commander. Basically, what Asperia does is whenever you get attacked, you get to draw a card. So there was a couple cards in there that basically forced your opponent to attack you. And yeah, so you got to draw cards off that. Didn't feel like that was one of the strongest cards within the deck, and I felt like it was a little clunky. So I actually decided to remove that one and pull out the secondary commander, who is Kangee, the Sky Warden. So Kangee is a 5 mana 3/3, has flying and vigilance. And basically, whenever Kangee attacks with other creatures with flying, they get +2/+0 on attack. And then also when they are defending, they get +0/+2 when defending. So Kangee works really well with flyers, already flyers in the deck, and I decided to add some more flyers in here. So wanted to go over that with you guys. So sit back, grab your cup of hot Joe, and we'll dive right into it, or fly right into it. Let's fly right into this and take a look to see what we have here. So it is a flying tribal deck, and I got this from the first flight pre-con set. Didn't really like the concept that it was going with, so decided to pivot a little bit. The secondary commander in there is none other than Kangee Skywarden. So he is 5 mana, 3/3, has flying and vigilance. And then whenever Kangee attacks, he gives your attacking flying creatures +2/+0. And then whenever they're blocking, they get +0/+2. So a great way to buff your creatures on attack and then blocking. Since every single creature in here is flying, Kangee works out pretty great here. He is a little expensive. I wouldn't say he's probably the strongest commander out there, but he's definitely a lot of fun and he fits the theme. So that's why Kangee's the commander. Jumping into some of the artifacts that within the deck. A lot of these are just going to be, like I guess manas, things like that. So Sky Diamond's going to buff. This is probably one of the only ones that are artifacts, but it has no maximum hand size, and on your upkeep, however many cards that you have in your hand, you gain that much life. This card is definitely very strong. I think it's pretty expensive too, but I added this one to the deck just because, hey, gain more life, and there's certain cards in here that, really like you have more life. So decided to add this one within here. Buffing mana, more mana. This one is whenever you attack, if you deal combat damage, you draw cards, and you can also basically goad another opponent's creature. And if you guessed it, more mana, and obviously like Soaring and stuff like that. So a lot of mana dorks there. All right, so jumping into some of the enchantments. So we have Gravitational Shift. This is got to be in this deck. Gives your creatures +2/+0 with flying, and creatures without flying get -2/-0. Since this deck has no non-flying creatures in it, you're never going to have to worry about that, and usually just screwing your opponents more than anything, but also buffing your creatures. Court of Grace, you become Monarch. On your upkeep, you create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying, but if you're Monarch, you create a 4/4 angel instead. So pretty strong to keep your board state. This one is going to give all your creatures +1/+1 with flying. Some more buffing. This one you're going to put on a single creature. They get lifelink, but whenever they deal combat damage, you draw a card. And then Banishing Light for 3 mana, you put it down and you exile a non-land permanent. And then the only way they're getting it back is if they destroy this somehow or it leaves the battlefield. Wizard class gives you no maximum hand size. If you pay the 3 mana afterwards, you draw 2 cards. And then whenever you draw a card for the last step, you get +1/+1 counter on creatures you control. This gives your creatures vigilance, and then they can also block an additional time each combat. So especially with Kangee, with buffing and giving them bigger butts, that's really strong. This one's going to has flash, and the creatures you get +2/+2. And then finally, this is more of an ending card, I would say, but creatures you control have double strike and lifelink. I usually slam this on the board when I'm about to have a big swing and hopefully finish opponents. Another thing I really love about this deck, it really holds into like that blue style and has a lot of the staple white cards within as well. But like, for example, destroy target artifact or enchantment. Ether Snatch, I added this one. I thought it was pretty cool, but you can gain control of target spell and you may choose new targets for it. So pretty strong. Counter spell, gotta have that in a blue deck. Negate, gotta have that in a blue deck. Swords of Plowshare, pretty staple in a white deck. Cleansing Nova, you either destroy all creatures or you can destroy all artifacts and enchantments. Time Warp is interesting. You pick a creature, you return it to the owner's hand, and then you destroy everything else. Pegasus, I would say, is more of like an ending card. You create X 1/1 white Pegasus creature tokens with flying, where X is your life total. So again, if you have 40 life, you're creating 40 Pegasus tokens. It is 10 mana, so it does cost a lot, but this is, again, hopefully something you get at the end of the game. Sphinx Revelation, you gain X life and you draw X cards. Reality of the Lings is going to be another buff. You untap all your creatures, and then creatures with flying get +2/+2 until end of turn. This one, you create 4 1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying, or you can also get basic land cycling with it. Card draw, and it also costs 1 less if you control a creature with flying. So if you have any creature on the board, you're getting this. Etherize is cool. Return all attacking creatures to your owner's hands. Generous Gift, you destroy target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 elephant creature token. Absorb is another counter spell, but you gain 3 life when you also cast it. And then finally, Crush Counterban is you choose one, exile target artifact or enchantment. Oh, and I forgot this one. I actually just recently added this one. It's from the Avatar set, but you can choose a creature if you control it, and it becomes a 4/4 hero in addition to its other creature type, but it's not legendary. So I can actually target Kangee and get another Kangee. And then the other effect is you can use this on your opponent's board as well, and then they get a 2/2 coward in addition to its other types. Now let's jump into the meat and potatoes, your actual flying cards. So I'll start off with this pile. So these are just going to be like more of your basic flying cards. Zeltop I wouldn't say is basic, but it basically has every keyword within that. Flying, double strike, vigilance, trample, indestructible. When it's coming on the board, hopefully it's a good game ender or just annoying for your opponents. This card has landfall. Whenever you play a land, you get a 1/1 white bird creature token. Face value doesn't seem that strong, but even 1/1s with Kangee are getting buffed, so they can be quite annoying sometimes as well. This one, you create a 1/1 white spirit creature token when it enters, and you can also exile him and pay that 4, and then you exile target creature. And then Mockingjay is really interesting. You pay the X of a creature card, and it actually copies it, but it also has flying. So if you wanted to copy something on your board, or if maybe another opponent has something strong but doesn't have flying, you want to add it, Mockingjay, you would play that, and it would basically become that creature. So pretty cool. And then finally, this one has flying, but you exile a target player's graveyard if you sacrifice them. Now this pile is a lot of card draw. So this one is a flying. It's a 3/2, but whenever you attack, you scry X, where X is the number of attacking creatures with flying you control. So pretty cool there to look at some of the cards you have coming up. This one is whenever you attack with 2 or more creatures with flying, you draw a card. Some more card draw. This one is whenever it enters, you draw cards equal to the number of opponents you have. And it's just a big creature. Mirza the Crow, whenever another creature dies, you may draw a card. If you do, you discard a card. So a little down effect, but this one, you pick an opponent, they draw 1 card, and you draw 3 cards. Loyal Drake is if your commander is out in the field at the start of your combat, you get to draw a card. So as long as Kangee's out there and this is out there, you're getting card draw. Pretty sick. As soon as this enters, you draw 2 cards and you gain 2 life. And then finally, whenever a creature with flying attacks, you draw a card. So pretty cool. And then finally, all the buffing cards. So this one, whenever it attacks, creatures with flying get +2/+2 until end of turn. This card is Skycat Sovereign, gets +1/+1 for each other creature with flying you control. This one's going to give all your creatures with flying indestructible. And you can also pay 1 if you tap 4 creatures. So if you have maybe a lot of Pegasus or birds, you can use that. But pretty cool effect there. Going to reduce the cost of your creatures with flying. This one, when it enters, you gain 2 life for each creature you control with flying. Hopefully that's all of them. Kangee Lieutenant, this is just more themey. I don't feel like it's a very strong card, but whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 to then turn to creatures, and then it has an encore effect. You create 3 of them, and then they're attacking and tapping, so buffing them until that end of turn as well. Just getting all your creatures +1/+1. So it's going to give all your creatures vigilance and also giving them +1/+1. This gives your creatures Ward 2. Makes your creatures with flying 1 less to cast, but whenever another creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, it gets a +1/+1. So if it's left alone, it can get pretty big. Same thing with this one. This one is whenever an opponent casts a spell, this one gets +1/+1, but you also gain 1 life. And then whenever Arch on the Redemption enters, another creature with flying enters the battlefield under your control, you may gain life equal to the creature's power. And then finally, this one has Flash, Flying, and other creatures you have with flying get +1/+1. And then in regards to land base, there's 37 lands in total. Nothing too special about there. You have like your command towers, dual lands, and then everything else are just basic islands or plains cards. So yeah, that is my Kangee flying tribal deck that I created based on the First Flight Precon deck that I received. Probably not one of my strongest decks. I would probably rate it as an upper 2, maybe like a lower 3 in regards to like the bracket system, just because there are some strong cards within there. But overall, I do think it's still not the strongest deck that I own. I think flying is pretty annoying in general, so usually people struggle with flying if they don't have reach or things like that. So overall, that just makes it pretty annoying. But I still really enjoy the fact that I get to keep a lot of those blue and white cards that deal with creature removal or enchantment, artifact, or counter spells. So it's a really fun aspect to have to it as well. But let me know what you think of this deck. Let me know if it's garbage or any cards that you would take out or remove, or even if you had the First Flight Precon, let me know what you think of it, or if you kept that commander. So make sure to leave a like and comment down below, and make sure to follow and subscribe for future videos. I will see you in the next one. Hope you stay warm, and see ya. Peace.